Efuru by Flora Nwapa. Chapter 3. Adizua was not good at trading. It was Efuru who was the brain behind the business. He knew this very well, and so one night he spoke to Efuru.
Efuru, I think it is time you should face your trade. Your baby is old enough to be left with a nurse. My mother will see that you get a good nurse. At this time, your baby can eat some mashed yam well prepared with palm oil. You have to think over this, my dear wife.
I have thought of it. You are right. I have to get a maid who will help me with Ogonim. We are not only making no profits, we are losing our capital. So we must do something about it. We have to put our heads together because our father said that if you don't think before you sleep, you break your head.
3 market days passed. One of Efuru's friends came to see her. They talked on many things and about the baby. She is growing, she said to Efuru. Yes, she is growing. How old is she now? She will be 8 months next month. She looks like a baby of 1 year. She is still breastfeeding, of course. Yes, she is still breastfeeding, and she will continue till she is over a year. I shall stop when she is 1.5 years or even 2 years, Efuru said. That's good, my friend. My sister who went to school told me that her children, when she began to have them, would breastfeed for only 6 months. I told her she was mad. I wean my children when they are over 1 year. Your sister should wait until she has her babies, then she can stop breastfeeding them when they are 3 months old. My mother told me that she found it difficult to stop breastfeeding me. When I was 3 years, I was still breastfeeding. She would go to market, remain for 2 or 3 days, and when she came back, I would want her breast. She did everything to stop me, including rubbing bitter leaf on it. I would suck 2 mouthfuls, spit them out, and after that, it wasn't bitter anymore. The 2 women laughed. What bothers me now is a maid. I want a maid to help me look after Ogonim while I trade with my husband. A maid? You want a maid to look after your only child? She will kill her. I advise you not to have a maid. You will regret it. I shall get a good one. I want to help my husband. We have been losing much money. What is that to you? What is money? Can a bag of money go for an errand for you? Can a bag of money look after you in your old age? Can a bag of money mourn you when you are dead? A child is more valuable than money. So our father said. As if these were not enough, Efuru's friend began to narrate all the atrocities of maids. You know Nwanta, don't you? Yes. You know that her first son is blind in one eye. Yes. A maid was responsible for it. How? Efuru asked in horror. The boy was playing with a stick. The maid saw him and did not take it away from him. So the stick went right into his eye, and now the poor boy is blind in one eye. Thank God it is only in one eye. You know Nwanyozo, don't you? Yes, I know her very well. You know that her daughter has a burnt face. And I don't know who is going to marry a girl with a burnt face. It was a maid who was responsible for it too. Efuru did not ask her how that happened this time. It was not necessary. I have maids, no doubt, but I know how to treat them. They cannot harm my children. I hold them with an iron hand. I do. When she went away, Efuru laughed at her. Who does she think she is fooling? So the very next day, she told her mother-in-law to get her a maid to help her with Ogonim. A week later, Efuru's mother-in-law brought her a child of about 10 years old. She is the daughter of my cousin Nwosu. Her father lost all his yams in the flood, and the little yams that were left were not sold for 1/10 of the money used for the farming. Only last week, the court messengers came to his house demanding tax. His wife saw them in time and told him in the innermost chamber of their house. When the court messengers were told that he was not in, they left but told the wife that they were coming again. About 30 pounds debt is on his head now, through no fault of his own. He cannot find money to feed his children, let alone pay tax. When the court messengers come again, they will take him and jail him. Then his children will die of starvation. There are 5 of them. The planting season is near. There is no money to buy yams to plant. There is no money for his wife to trade in cassava, which is profitable now. He saw me this morning, and when I told him that you wanted a maid, he was pleased. Please ask her to take my daughter as her maid and give me 10 pounds. At the end of the year, we shall give her 10 pounds plus 4 pounds interest and take our daughter. He told me. I promised him that I would see you, and here is the child. If you don't want her, she will have to go back to her father. Is it the flood that caused this? Efuru asked. The flood, my daughter, the flood. The flood destroyed yams, houses, and domestic animals. You and my son were lucky you decided to leave farming entirely alone and concentrate on trade. You would have been in the same predicament. Imagine working for a whole year and then, just one day, the flood carries everything into the river. You lose everything and become a debtor in the bargain. Mother, it is all right. I shall tell my husband tonight. Meanwhile, the child can remain. I would like to see your cousin tomorrow. The next day, Nwosu came to see Efuru and her husband on account of the child. His wife also came with him. Have you come? Welcome. Oh, Nwanonako, are you well? Efuru's mother-in-law's cousin greeted. We are well, Efuru replied. It is only hunger. It is good that it is only hunger. Good health is what we pray for. Please sit down here. Nwosu and his wife sat down. His wife had a baby in her arms. The baby was about 6 months old. When they sat down, she began to yell. Her mother quickly brought out her breast. She snatched at it and began to suck greedily. My mother-in-law told me about your daughter. My husband has just gone to the back of the house. He will soon be here. A woman has no say in these things. As they were waiting for Adizua, Efuru brought them cola and alligator paper. Tell me what happened, Nwosu, Efuru said. I don't know where to begin, Nwosu said. It is very painful, Efuru, my daughter. It is very painful. I am known in our farm as a great farmer of yams. 2 years ago, my yams were so big that when they were brought to the market for sale, one was priced 5 shillings and I refused. I was able to rebuild my house, which was falling down, and I paid all that I owed and even took a title. Then last year, I worked very hard. I got workmen to help me. My yams were doing very well. Then just a few weeks before harvest, the floods came. It was earlier than usual. My wife sent for me, for I went to the town. I came immediately and we started harvesting. It was too late. I walked as I had never walked before. The flood rushed in and made a mockery of all my efforts. The water reached my belly. It was no use, I gave up. I saw with my eyes the destruction of my sweat and labor. There was nothing we could do but to come home. My wife had a small farm of cassava and we dug up that and sold it 3 nkwas ago. We had only 2 pounds. When the 2 pounds finish, we shall starve. I went to the man who lent me the money for my farm and told him everything. He did not cause the flood, he told me. So whatever happened, I should find his money and give it to him before the next planting season. He must look after his children. He and his family cannot starve because of the flood, so he told me. Just when I was bemoaning my misfortune, these court messengers came to demand tax. I told my wife to leave them while I loaded my gun. If they did not see my blood, I would see theirs. But my wife tricked me. While I was in the innermost chamber of my house loading my gun, she locked the door and told the court messengers that I was not in. My daughter Efuru, if you do this thing for us, if you take my daughter Ogia and give us 10 pounds, I shall forever be grateful to you. We shall pay you at the end of the year, either in yams or money, whichever way you choose. This life is so miserable. One wishes to die and go and rest with one's ancestors. Adizua came and sat down quietly as Nwosu was narrating his misfortunes. When Nwosu finished, he greeted them and told them that they were ready to help them. My wife will give you 10 pounds. At the end of the year, you will give us our 10 pounds. You shall have your child. If anything happens and you cannot afford to give us this money at the end of the year, let us know. Thank you very much, Adizua, and thank you so much, Efuru. You do not know what you have done for us today. Only God will repay you. His wife also thanked them very heartily. The money was counted and given to them. That was how Ogia came to live with Efuru and her husband. She was a mere child, only 10 years old. How could she look after a baby? Ogia cried and cried when her parents left her. She refused to eat and refused to do anything in the house. She was so uncooperative that Efuru did not know what to do with her. At first, she was very soft with her, but when she saw that this did not work, she became very firm and flogged her when she was very naughty. Once or twice, she threatened to put pepper in her eyes. It took the poor child a long time to settle down with Efuru. She did not know why her parents had brought her to the strange house, and this feeling of insecurity made her behave the way she did. Sometimes, when she was giving Ogonim and the child was crying, she let her cry or she cried with her. After about 2 months, Ogia was quite settled. She became part of the household and took great care of Efuru's daughter. She would take her to the sand and there play with other children. If any child made Ogonim cry, she would beat that child. When Efuru went to the market, Ogia took care of Ogonim, fed her and changed her dress. When she cried and her mother was long in coming home, she sang this lullaby to her. My sister, sleep and don't cry, O merere, O mere. My sister, sleep and don't cry, O merere, O merere. Cows are in the yellow sand, O merere, O merere. Pigs are in the sands of the river, O merere, O merere. Your father went fishing, O merere, O merere. Your mother went to the market, O merere, O merere. Your father will come soon, O merere, O merere. Your mother will return soon, O merere, O merere. Your father will bring you fishes, O merere, O merere. Your mother will buy you a nice pot, O merere, O merere. My sister, sleep and don't cry, O merere, O merere. When Efuru returned from the market, Ogia ran with Ogonim strapped on her back, shouting, Mama has come back, oh Toto. Mama has come back, oh yo yo. Then Efuru put down her basket and took her daughter from Ogia. How are you, my daughter? Ogia, bring me a piece of cloth for her nose.
Did she eat well? Did she cry when I was away? Then Ogia opened her basket and brought all the things she had bought from the market. Sometimes she bought them groundnuts, oranges, and pears. One day, when she returned from the market, she gave Ogia a second-hand cloth she had bought for her. "Here you are, my child. Try this on. I bought it today for only 2 shillings. Ogia was very happy. She wore it and it fitted very well. "You can have that instead of tying a wrapper always." When Efuru finished feeding her baby, she handed it to Ogia. Then she took her pot and towel and went to the stream. By the time she came back from the stream, her husband was back and both of them ate. "Ogia," Efuru called. Ogia answered from within. "Ogia, did you go to see Ajanupu today, as I told you before I went to the market?" "No, I forgot to go." "How many things do you have to remember? You will see her tomorrow, do you hear?" She returned to her husband. "You know Ajanipu, she will think I don't want them to come." So the next day, when Efuru was preparing for market, she prepared Ogia and the child for the visit. "Take good care of her at Ajanupu's. Ajanupu's children are rough, so look after her well and don't let them push her. Don't take her to the stream, please." Ajanupu and her children were happy to see Ogia and Ogonim. "Bring her here, Ogia, Ogonim. You have grown so big." Ajanupu cleaned her nose and straightened her dress. Then she placed her on her lap and then, "You naughty girl, you have urinated on my clothes. Your mother will wash my clothes for me. It is a good sign though. It shows you like me. Ogia, please bring me a piece of clothes to wipe this mess. Good. Now you don't urinate again or I will beat you." "Ogia, is she standing now?" "She stands, but when she sees her mother coming, she sits down again." "That's what they do. You are nearly a year now. My child, don't be lame. You are so healthy, and I don't see the reason why you should not walk before you are 1. Now, Ogia, you take that pot and go down to the stream quickly and fetch some water for me. That's your navel. Run." Ogia took the pot and ran as fast as her legs could carry her. She went straight to the stream, filled the pot, and made for home. A child of about her age saw her coming, and when she was near told her that her pot was not well balanced on her head. "It is tilted to the right," she told her. Ogia tilted it to the left. "It is now to the left," the girl said. When she tried to put it straight, she made a false move. The clay pot fell with all its might to the ground and broke into 100 pieces. Ogia placed her hands on her head and yelled, "Ewo! Ajanipu will kill me today! Ewo! I have broken Ajanipu's pot! I am done for! I am done for! I am dead! Ajanipu will kill me!" She wept. Passers-by begged her to go home, but she refused and wept louder than before. "Are you a fool?" a woman asked her. "Go home quickly, your mother won't kill you. And besides, she is waiting for you. Go home, my child." "I won't go home. Ajanipu will beat me. She will kill me. I won't go home." When Ajanipu waited and Ogia did not come back, she sent one of her children to find out what was keeping Ogia from fetching the water. The child saw Ogia crying, and she, with other children there, watched her as she cried. The girl quite forgot that she was sent by her mother to go and call Ogia. Ajanipu waited, and when there was no sign of Ogia and her child, she strapped Ogonim on her back and went angrily to the stream, making sure she had a whip with her. At this time, Ogia was collecting the pieces of the broken pot together. She did not know that Ajanipu was coming. "Foolish girl!
Have this and this." She gave Ogier 2 strokes of the whip. Ogier jumped up in the air and ran. She could have run to the end of the world at that moment. "Foolish girl, stupid girl," Ajanapu went on. "To break my pot and refuse to come home? What was she carrying with it? Such a small pot. It is an old one. I have had it for a long time, and now that fool of a girl has broken it. You wait until you come home, and you have this and this." She returned to her child, whom she sent to find out about Oge. "You have the audacity to stay here and stare at me when you were sent to fetch Ogier." The little girl ran home yelling. Ajanapu picked up the whip, jerked Ogonim in position, and walked homeward, still very angry. "What is the matter?" a woman asked her. "It is that fool of a girl who does not know her right from her left. That girl who has been in the farm since she was born and is so bush. She broke my water pot, the water pot I have had for many years." "Never mind, children of these days are no use." What was she carrying with it? "The pot is not a heavy one." "I don't know what she was carrying with it, my sister. The water pot is not heavy." Ajanapu went on. Ogonim was becoming uncomfortable and started to cry. "You remain where you are, or..." And she jerked her angrily. Ogonim kept quiet as if she heard Ajanapu's threats. Somebody fetched some water for Ajanapu, and she began to prepare some food. Her eldest daughter, who was about 14, was in school. The little one were too small to be of much use, so Ajanapu did all the cooking with Ogonim on her back. She finished cooking and gave Ogonim some to eat. After eating, she fell asleep. Ogier came back when Ajanapu was pounding the fufu and hid at the back of the house. When she saw that Ogonim was asleep and Ajanapu was about to eat, she appeared. "Have you finished running, you fool? Now, go to the kitchen and wash up." Ogier went to the kitchen and began to wash up. Ajanapu came to the kitchen. "The mortar is not properly washed, and wash the whole length of the pestle. When you finish, sweep the floor and be quick about it." When Ogier finished, she began to sweep the floor. "Bend down properly, you are a girl, and you will one day marry. Bend down and sweep like a woman," Ajanapu commanded. When she finished sweeping, she began to eat. "You don't sit like that when you are eating. You put your legs together and sit like a woman." Ogier did as she was told and continued eating. She ate some fish in the soup, and Ajanapu came along again. "You eat your fish last. I wonder what Efuru has been teaching you. I must tell her to handle you better. Children eat their fish last. You will steal at this rate. Efuru will have to bring you here for a few weeks." When Ajanapu saw Efuru in the evening, she told her about Ogier. "You are spoiling Ogier. You just leave her to do what she likes. Remember, she is a girl and she will marry one day. If you don't bring her up well, nobody will marry her. By the way, can she cook now?" "She can boil yam for Ogonim. That's all she can do." "You mean she does not know how to pound fufu?" "No, she does not pound fufu. I do that myself. A girl of her age should know how to cook everything. You are to blame." "I am so busy at Ajanapu. Our trade is bad. People don't pay their debts, and so when I return from the market, I go to collect this debt and have no time for anything else. Do you know what? Nwabozo has not paid that money she borrowed a year ago." "What did she tell you today when you went to her house?" "She asked me to come on a Kede." "You will not go. I shall go to her. Leave it to me. She will have to vomit out that money. You don't know how to collect debt. You remember that woman who borrowed 10 pounds from my husband? For 2 years, she did not want to pay. So one day, I collected my 4 children. We went there and sat down. She was the only person in their compound that day. We did not allow her to cook. If she made fire, I would ask one of my children to scatter the fire. If she wanted to go to the stream, we would take the water pot from her.
When it was too much for her, she begged us to go, that she would bring me the money. I refused to go. All I wanted was my money. I did not want a part of it, I told her. I wanted everything. She knew I was determined. She had insulted me and the people I sent to her previously. I had no sympathy for her. Then she said somebody owed her some money in the farm and she had promised to pay the next day. Could I go and she would bring me the money the next day? I refused. I was not leaving her house until my £10 was counted and given to me. It was not that she had no money. She had the money because she and her husband were building a house and wanted to build with my £10. You need to see the clothes she had on during the Owu festival and also the trinkets. All this made me refuse to go. Finally, she went in and brought £5. I told her it was not correct. I was not going until she gave me the remaining £5. It was at this stage that people came in and intervened. She has tried, they said to me. Take your money and go. Don't be obstinate. Then you are the right person to go, Efuru said to Ajanopo. It is only £5. If you collect it, I shall give you 10 shillings out of it. Ajanopo went the next day. She was told that Nwabuzo, the debtor, was not in. She sat down and waited. She did not have to wait for long when Nwabuzo came in, water pot on her head. Ajanopo helped her put the pot down. Is it well today that you have come to my house? Nwabuzo asked. It is well, but not very well, Ajanopo replied. Nwabuzo went in and brought some kola. When they finished the kola, Ajanopo started. Efuru sent me to you. She said the £5 is now overdue and that she will go to Akiri soon. She wants her money urgently and besides, you asked her to come today, which is a Kede. It is true I said that, but I am sorry I have no money today. I know it has taken a long time since she lent me the money, but I have no money today. My husband and I went to the Great River to trade in groundnuts. As we were returning, our canoe capsized and we lost all our groundnuts. I nearly lost my life but for my husband. When we lost everything, we came home and collected all the money we could find and went off again, this time to buy garri because we were told that garri trade was very profitable at the time. We bought our garri all right and put them in bags, ready to be taken down to the Great River for the homeward journey. My husband went for carriers and I watched the garri. Then suddenly, it seemed as if the heavens were opened and rain poured down in bucketfuls. At Ajanopo, I was helpless. I could do nothing. I saw our garri soak and there was nothing I could do. I could not lift a bag. I wept and called passerby to help me. Good people, they came and helped with a few bags before my husband came. The next day, the garri was put out to dry. Much of it was bad. We then took it to the market to sell, but nobody would buy it. Then some boy in uniform came along and kicked our garri. A basin full emptied on the ground. My husband was selling his in a bag. He ran away with his. If you are not careful, the man in uniform told us, I shall hand you over to the police. We returned home. The garri is still here. We have tried to sell it, but who will buy such garri? Please have patience. Let's see what we can do next, Unko. You are talking rubbish, Ajanopo said. I have heard these stories before. You go to the room and bring me £5. That's all I want. I won't go until you have given me that amount. I am not leaving your house if you give me £4, 19 shillings, 11 pence, halfpenny. Do you hear? Ajanopo sat down on the mat and stretched her legs. She was determined to stay there till doomsday. Nwabuzo did not know what to do. If there was money, she could have given it to Ajanopo. But there was no money. Nwabuzo called an elderly woman on the compound. When she came, she begged Ajanopo to go and come back the following day. I will not go. Nwabuzo will give me Efuru's money today. I will not go without it. So don't worry yourself begging me. The woman went away.
When Nwabuzo saw that Ajanopu was deaf to all entreaties, she went into her room, untied her wrapper and brought out a very long bag, which she used also in tying her wrapper. She counted some shillings. Then she opened her box and brought out a piece of cloth about 6 yards long, which she had not sewn, and gave the money and the cloth to Ajanopu. "This is 1 pound. The piece of cloth cost me 4 pounds. Take it, and when I have 4 pounds, I shall claim it." Ajanopu took the money and the cloth. "Thank you, I am going. We shall find out whether the piece of cloth is worth 4 pounds. "Has she gone?" a woman on the compound asked. "She has gone. I gave her 1 pound and a piece of cloth which cost me 4 pounds. Thank God I could give her those." "God forbid! What is all this about? What swells Ajanopu's head?" Ajanopu's mother could not afford a good piece of cloth to tie round her waist. Her grandmother died of hunger. Her father took no title. What is it that intoxicates her now? That's how the newly rich behave. They have never seen money. When they see it, they lose their heads. But she is not rich by any standard. Well, she is. Don't you know she is building a house? And so what? If she is building a house, she is building it for herself, and I have nothing to do with it. When Ajanopu got home, she cursed herself for not going directly to Efuru. A woman was waiting for her. She was sitting down comfortably on the mat. It was obvious that she had been there for a long time. Ajanopu said nothing to her when she came in. She opened her door, went in and came out again, locked the door and was walking away. The woman got up. "Ajanopu, I have come to your house. There is no need to behave like that or pretend that you don't know me. I want my money. I am tired of coming to your house, and besides, I won't be in town for some time. Please give it to me. How much do I owe you?" "It is only 5 shillings, the woman replied. "All right, come tomorrow. I have no money today." "You have told me that several times. I won't come tomorrow. I want my money today. I am leaving town early tomorrow morning." "I say come tomorrow. I have no money today." "I said that I cannot come tomorrow." "You stay there then. I am going out." "Oh, you cannot go. You have money. Please give it to me." "Nonsense. What is wrong with you? How much do I owe you that you won't let me go about my business? Aren't you the daughter of Ijoma who died of the white disease? Aren't you the daughter of Nwakego who stole in the market and was killed by the juju?" "You are a liar," the woman replied. "My father did not die of the white disease. My mother died a natural death." "But your mother died of hunger on her way from Akiri. Your father was so poor that he could not bring her corpse home to be buried. So she was buried in a strange land. Shame on you. Your mother was buried in a strange land. You must give me my money today." Many people came around. "What is the matter?" they asked. "It is Ajanopu," the woman said. "It is Ajanopu, the newly rich, who has forgotten the poverty of her mother and father. She bought some yams from me 3 months ago. She gave me 1 pound and asked me to come the next day for 5 shillings. I have gone to her house nearly every day for the money, but she refused to pay. Today I told her that she must give me the money because I would be going to trade very early tomorrow morning. But she still insisted that I should come tomorrow. Then she told me my father died of the white disease and my mother died of juju. As if everybody in this town did not know that Ajanopu's mother died of starvation and her miserable father could not afford to bring back the corpse to be buried at home. You don't have to quarrel, one of the spectators said. Ajanopu, she continued, if you have money, give her her money. There is no need to quarrel. The world is not good. It is true, another woman said. Ajanopu, don't quarrel. Give her her money and don't say bad words to each other. Ajanopu hissed, went gingerly into the room, and when she came out, she handed 5 shillings to her creditor. It is because of these people, Ajanopu said angrily to her creditor. If not, you wouldn't have got this money. Thank you very much, Ajanopu.
A man asked his friend to cut up some meat for him. When the friend finished, he asked whether it was properly cut. The man told him that if he called him again to do the same job, he would know whether he did it well or not. Ajanupu had banged her door by the time the woman finished this tedious proverb.